Alright, so after searching the internet and YouTube for a little bit, I found some videos about the EV6 connectors which go on your fuel injectors, but I couldn't find exact specifics on how to properly disassemble these to only change out the connector portion on your vehicle. So, showing off why I'm doing this in the first place, I had a Ford Explorer about 15 years old, and one of the fuel injectors decided to split on me. So went to replace that, and when replacing it, pulling off the connector, the little tab inside of here broke off. And when that happens, it no longer stays on your fuel injector. So when that happened, I kind of came up with a short-term solution to at least get the vehicle up and running, which was to run a zip tie through and basically around the fuel injector. That securely held it in place, but I immediately ordered new connectors for this. I would only recommend you do that in an emergency situation, if you had to get your vehicle moving. So after years of heat cycling, these connectors get really brittle and causes components inside of them to fail. So you're gonna need to replace them. I recommend, if you're going to work on a vehicle that's older, you might as well just order these connectors. It was about maybe $13 for 8 of these replacement EV6 connectors. Just go ahead and order them and have them on hand in case you do break a connector. So I've seen a few videos on YouTube about how to remove the wedge lock inside of these connectors, and people come in with some needle nose pliers and try pulling that, and it just mangles the whole connector up. And I tried to go at it with a screwdriver initially and just pry up on the wedge lock inside of there, and I ended up breaking out a piece of the connector right here. You can see that there's a portion missing right there, and I'll show you that little piece that came out. That little piece of plastic broke out. So on a connector that's not broken, you can use some jeweler's screwdrivers. They make tools for connector disassembly that are a little bit thinner and might work a little better in this circumstance, but some jeweler's screwdrivers are going to get the job done for you. So you're going to take one screwdriver, you're going to put it underneath the wedge lock on this side. Now I've already kind of pre-removed this one. I'll actually put it back in just so you can see the work here. Put a screwdriver underneath, and then you're going to want to come in on this side of the connector and put your screwdriver in right here. Try not to mess up the plastic. You might even want to pre-start with having that in there. Get that tab bent out just a little bit, and then slowly pry up, and the connector will pop up. Once that happens, there is a show you on here. See that little piece of plastic on here sticking out? That's what you're trying to make room for. And then on the other side there's another one, but it is a little lower on the connector and doesn't require as much effort. So once you get this loose, you're just going to kind of pry up on it a little bit to the side, and it should come up just like that. And try not to drop it on your floor. So once you have that done, now you got to work on pin extraction. I recommend you do this, using a little hobby vise. I got this thing from Harbor Freight. It's done, a lot of good work for me over the years, just holding stuff. But we have to get these pins extracted so we can pull the wires out. me get the camera set up for you here. Alright, looking down in here, I've got one of the wires already removed. And you can see right down that opening right there. There's a tiny little prong that you need to move out of the way. And you have to come at it from the top. So you're going to take another small screwdriver, or you can take a small pick, and you're going to put that down the hole right along where the terminal is, and you're going to pry that back and simultaneously pull out on the wire. So on this one, I'm going to do it for you. You're going to come in, run that down. You'll feel it kind of catch and hold. I'm going to actually come in here with this angled one here, just for the view for you guys. Come in. You can see this is easier said than done. Alright, and it just slid out. So I was just using a really small flathead. You want to make sure you don't damage that prong in there, because you do want it to have positive control over the terminal. And I'll show you on the actual terminal itself where that's grabbing. It's grabbing right inside of here. So you got to kind of push it out of the way so that this thing can slide out. So once you get all that removed, you've now got a connector shell that you can install on your vehicle. On your vehicle, you're going to find that the connectors are going to be they're going to be a lot more brittle, and you can see how all the insides of that just broke away. So remove the wedge lock, pull the pins out. You don't have to be as careful with this. Try not to damage the pins at all, or the terminals, and then get those pulled out. I also recommend that you clean off the rubber boot at the end of the terminal, and if you need to, or you feel like it, take some dielectric grease and put that on the boot before insertion. And then installation is going to be in the reverse. So on your vehicle, make sure you always write out how your wiring was set up, or take pictures. You're going to take your connector, you're going to take the wire, put the wire in, push up. You'll feel that it goes in, it clicks, it won't pull back out. Then you're going to take your wedge lock, put your wedge lock back in, push it in, make sure it's fully seated, and you're back in business. I prefer this method to re-terminate or repin the connector, rather than going at it and trying to use these heat shrink soldering connectors here, or just soldering the wire and then heat shrinking it. Anytime you do that, you create another point for failure. This can fail. You can get water that can get inside of here eventually. You can, whenever you solder, you make things more brittle, so your wires can actually break, and then it hides the damage from you. So if you can re-terminate a connector, I recommend it. It takes a little bit more effort and prep to get this done, but actual installation on the vehicle, I think, is probably easier, because you're not trying to solder over an engine compartment. So do most of the work, at your bench, and then go ahead and install on your vehicle. I hope this helps you guys, and good luck on your vehicles.